From above, it appears peaceful, serene. But this is an illusion. Seismic changes have overtaken the planet since the days when human beings ruled the Earth. The only inhabitants remaining are the animals who have somehow managed to survive. These indomitable creatures must travel the lands, the seas, and the skies in search of safety and sanctuary. But the journey will be hard, for there are terrors in the wild world. How long will they survive? Away. The forest canopy is the realm of the sugar glider, a small mammal with the ability to float on the air like a piece of paper. Sugar gliders are social animals that form deep bonds with their family groups. Young gliders, or joeys, sometimes remain with their mothers until they're 10 months old. At only 6 months, our young glider will need more time at his mother's side to learn the ropes. But this young sugar glider is out of his element. A devastating storm destroyed his nest. Now, with his mother and sister at his side, he must brave the dangers of the wild in search of a new home. The sugar glider's mother scampers on ahead with his sister on her back. To survive this unfamiliar territory, he'll have to follow her closely. He's still young and has much to learn. The sugar glider feels most at home in the trees, and for good reason. The glider's whole body is adapted for the high life of the forest canopy. Opposable thumbs on his hind feet allow him to clasp branches and perform wonderful feats of acrobatics. And his gliding membrane allows him to get around without ever setting foot on the forest floor. An excellent first attempt. The young glider has soared successfully his first glide and is primed and ready for the journey ahead. This first glide has left the sugar glider weak and in desperate need of nourishment. His next priority is to hunt for food if he wants to be able to run and glide with energy. glider has ventured to the cliff's edge. But the winds out here are harsh, and one wrong step will send him tumbling into the waters below. The terrain is rocky and inhospitable, nothing like the smooth tree trunks and sturdy branches the sugar glider is used to. Crags, steep slopes, and sudden gaps in the earth present a treacherous challenge. One wrong move could be his last. Up ahead, a scorpion. This creepy crawler wields a dangerous weapon. A toxic stinger that could seriously injure the glider if he gets too close. But our young glider will need to fight his way through, because this scorpion won't rest until he catches him. A clever move. The glider has outsmarted the scorpion and won the fight.
Oops.
Are we?
Yeah, we're live.
Hi everyone. We're the team behind Away, and we're back with like 45 minutes left of our Kickstarter campaign. So during our stream today, we just wanted to talk to you a little about the Kickstarter, show you the game, answer some of your questions, and also, of course, most importantly, thank all of our generous backers, because we're really excited about how the Kickstarter turned out. We've hit our $125,000 stretch goal, which is really exciting. And yeah, we're all really excited about it. So thank you all so much.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. It was
it's really nice.
It was actually pretty intense. The last few days, we went from like we weren't even sure if we were going to get the 125 the stretch goal, and then turned out we did it, and then we're on our way to the other one. With 45 minutes left to go, I don't think we're going to reach a 151. Yeah, I mean, share it, help us out, but
we never know.
We never know, because it's pretty cool. It was the night scenes, right?
Yeah.
We really wanted to do that one, so. And we'll have to figure out a way.
We have 45 minutes to
reach.
Yeah.
150. Maybe that's
so
something.
Let's go, guys.
Maybe that's something we can talk a little bit about. The different stretch goals we've talked about, but never like live. I don't have them in front of me, but if I remember correctly, the very first one we did was at $80,000 with the small animals, right?
Yeah.
I think we did talk about that one.
The
actually.
grasshopper and the
stag beetle.
So we were really happy to reach that one, because the cool thing about that, and I think we went over this in the past, but it's really looking at this world from like the perspective of such a tiny animal. That's really, really cool.
Yeah, that's going to be really nice.
And on the opposite spectrum of things, that's the one we just reached right now. Like big creatures, that's also very different. Between a grasshopper and a
bear.
A bear? Yeah,
that's a little different.
There's a little difference. So it really changes how you see things, the kind of gameplay and everything. So yeah, super cool that we were able to reach those two stretch goals.
Yeah.
Also in between those two, we had at 100, it was...
The island.
The island, I'll take you. Yeah. So yeah, the island, actually we got a lot of questions about that. But Matt, do you want to talk a little bit about the island?
Yeah, it's gonna be exclusive for like our Kickstarter backer, so it's gonna be nice. So the island's gonna we want to put as much the gameplay is more like for survival. It's gonna be like hunt, hide, and fight. So I don't want to say too much, but I want to keep a lot of surprise on this one. So yeah.
Well, Away, like the world of Away really is an island itself, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
yeah.
And it's a pretty big island.
Yeah, it's a huge island.
It was actually inspired by mostly Tasmania as an environment.
For the environment, because what I like about Tasmania is like there's a mix of boreal and more like tropical style. So because of the climate change and the world's a bit collapsing in our game. So I want to do like a mix of both of the boreal and tropical, because everything start to merge together because the temperature is shifting. So
So basically we have this big island. So the cool thing is basically, like most islands, you often see like I don't know what it's called, but you have like multiple islands kind of existing together. So you can see the island that you're gonna see that you're gonna get as a Kickstarter backer. You can actually see it. From different perspective of the game, it's kind of a little bit off the coast. So,
exactly.
So that's pretty cool. And yeah, the 125, we just mentioned it. The reason also we wanted to do this, a couple of things on this streaming today. We basically wanted for it to take a bit of the form of a kind of a you asking us questions.
Yeah.
AMA. So shoot your questions. We'll be happy to answer all those questions. But in the meantime, we were thinking of playing a little bit the game in front of you guys. We've taken the last build we had. It's going to be glitchy. There's going to be some bugs. So, don't be scared if you see the glider going through the ground or some weird stuff. This is all part of early develop, alpha version. Not something we would send to you guys. But yeah, we'll play a little bit of the game. Just actually, it's super interesting. The very first part we're going to play is an area where you have to glide. Basically, you're following the bearded vulture. That at that point in the game, actually, I shouldn't be saying that. But anyways, there's a bearded vulture in front of you.
Nice
Don't-
catch.
just stop at the
time.
right time.
Yeah, exactly. But basically, there's a bearded vulture, and you're gliding after it. You're pursuing it. So this was the gliding mechanic before we released the prototype that we released recently. So the gliding mechanic is very, very different. It's probably going to even show through the screen when we play. It's actually, I thought it was good back in the days. Now I played it before the stream and it's terrible.
Yeah, because we work a lot on the
Yeah, exactly.
for the prototype that we send. So
Yeah. So
we
we
spend
actually-
a lot of time to tweak it.
We have a question.
Yeah.
So, what aspect was the most difficult or fun about designing and programming the playable characters?
Is it the climb?
I'd like to say thank you for Tom from Geeky Drinker. Go like his page. So it's him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Tom.
So what was cool about developing and designing the playable characters? Honestly, like the way it started, the way we decided to do it is we really wanted to evolve a little bit more the combat system and the interaction with different animals. So to kind of help us design some of the combat mechanics and the different animations, everything, we just made sure we could control some of those animals so that our designer animators could jump in and kind of control it and make it fight or whatever. So basically, by making the system that would be able to control every animal, that's what's interesting is we didn't really want this as a feature initially. We had talked about it, we had thought about it, but not, it wasn't that serious. But as soon as we started just testing those different kind of, characters, just trying to test, okay, I want to see the walk cycle, I want to see, I don't know, like a jump or something. Then it was so cool just to be able to transition from one animal to the other. And so we're thinking, oh shit, let's, sorry for the bad word, no bad words. We really want to, start playing with those different animals. And then, quickly most of the animals were kind of the same size. We had the glider, of course, we had the lizard, I can't remember which ones, but basically all of them were kind of the same kind of scale. But we started adding smaller, we started integrating some, I forgot what it was, ants, I think? Like smaller insects or...
I think it's more or less it's ants.
And we started testing a little bit like the other ones, like the deer, and the different things like that. And it's like, wow, it's so cool to see it from those different perspectives. So that's why, this is the reason we started a Kickstarter, to kind of really expand on that. Does that answer the question?
Yeah. It took a tangent, but good. Someone also wants to know if there'll be playable wolves, speaking of the difference in sizes.
That's a good question. We had, what's playable? There's a fox, I think.
It's a fox and a bear now.
Yeah.
That we reach.
There's a wolf in the game.
There's a wolf in the game. But for now, we're not going to be able to play it for now. So sorry about that. For different reason that we cannot see right now. But we'll see if it's changed maybe in the future.
Theoretically, like I was saying, it could be. But the thing is, developing every time we integrate a new animal like that, we have to also think of how do we design that, how do we integrate that and make it fun within the game.
Yeah.
We can't just like kind of dump a wolf and the wolf can walk. Like that would be, it's fun for like 2 minutes.
Yeah, that was the goal of the stretch goal. So.
Yeah, exactly. So no, probably no wolves.
We'll see.
You guys want to start playing the game?
Yeah, absolutely.
So like if you want Anaretta to take control of the sugar glider, and then we can keep...
Ooh, I don't know if that's the
You
greatest
got
idea.
this.
Okay, I'll give it an attempt.
An attempt?
And if I last, then I last. But
All right,
there's
so
no promises.
It's the old
wait.
glide, right? It's the old
I
glide.
also
Wait a
want to say
second.
thanks to everyone on YouTube who's watching us from work, apparently. So thanks for supporting us. It's really nice to know you guys
Oops,
are
I'm
there.
having issues with my keyboard. Just a second. Sorry. All right, there you go. Sorry. Oops.
So,
There you go.
ooh, bearded vulture.
All right,
I
cool.
love this bird. Are there going to be different endings or situations depending on choices or routes one takes in the game?
Different handling. Interesting.
Yeah, that's interesting. No, there's no different endings. There's really like a story we're trying to tell in the game. So there's really one. There's a lot of like side quests and main things you can accomplish. That's not kind of the main path, but the story is one story we're trying to tell with one ending. After the ending, there's still much more to be explored,
Sorry,
but
it's not
yeah.
very
My God.
Oh!
I'm not very used to
The old controls. Yeah.
Good.
I'm also just generally not very good at this. So.
Oh, by the way, there's a bit of a frame we're having. I think it's because we're streaming. Next time we do a stream, I think we'll set up something
Yeah, on the
That's
other computer.
on our computer because right now it seems it's jittering a bit. Yeah, sorry about that.
So are there going to be hunger or just? Oh,
You're not supposed to. It doesn't swim.
Oh no, I have to do the glide again.
are there going to be hunger or disease mechanics in the game?
There's hunger mechanic. Disease. I mean, okay, so there's no disease like what there is, and honestly, like I don't want to promise too much on that front because this is still in development. But kind of the general direction we're taking is, of course, there's health, there's hunger, there's stamina. Those things are important in the game. But the we were thinking, I don't know if we'll be able to implement it, but things like poisonous mushrooms, for example, and different things like that would, instead of like feeding you, then you would have to make strategic choice on what you eat or what not to eat. So yeah, that's even on the same line of thought. And again, I'm talking, but like don't this is not a promise I'm making right now. But yeah, there was some thoughts about how do we integrate maybe some some insects that bite you or something. Maybe this poison you for a certain period of time, or you need to find a certain type of food to kind of remove some of that effect. But yeah, that's pretty much it. The eating and like the hunger mechanic is kind of interesting. It's about basically as a small like any survival game. It's really what if you're not taking care of your character, if you're not feeding yourself, you can't accomplish as much. So like it becomes harder to fight. It becomes harder to fight, glide, and all those different things. So you'll need to make sure you're feeding properly, and that your family is also fed properly at the same time.
So, firstly, this is made in Unreal Engine. Good eyes to the person on
Yes.
YouTube who asked. And then, will there be another character who's able to fly, i.e., a hawk?
Yeah, that's a really cool idea. We had planned other stretch goals in case we're
250. I don't know.
yeah, it was a very ambitious one. We never proposed it. We never showed it because it was a bit high. But so yeah, definitely something we would love to do. But I don't think if we want to release this game next year, yeah, it's not going to be possible.
How much music has been recorded for the game?
How much music?
Yeah.
I don't know. to be
Firstly,
honest.
soundtrack's
think we have,
awesome.
like,
It's by Mike Rasnick, and he's a super accomplished composer. It's a 40-person string orchestra. I used to play an orchestra, so I absolutely love it.
Yeah. No, it is sick. The music Mike records like it's sick. The one I was so happy we got to use the original track we had.
And also the way we work, it's like he did so much track. He did different music, but so much track of each music that we have different version of each music. So that's really nice. That's why we were able to do like almost like 1 hour 13 minutes of like a different music, because we use the same bass sometime, but it's completely different in the game. So they work really well. For that.
Yeah. How
I
much?
can try it.
How many like
The frame rate.
like not songs but like musical pieces he composed for this? Like
Sorry?
how many different kind of track has he made?
I think I'm not sure right now, but I think it's a 9 track different.
Okay.
And we have different version of each track, so something like this.
It's definitely one of the elements that really.
Yeah. Because each track is long. It's like at least 4 or 5 minutes each. So
So a bit of context, what we were showing you gameplay wise, I mean we didn't talk much about it, but yeah, the gliding, I'll talk a little bit about the gliding. We released a gliding prototype. If you guys haven't tried it, go try it. We really appreciate your feedback on this. This is something we've worked hard on trying to nail and get better. Some people have mentioned that it was a bit hard. Some people really loved it the way it was. It is hard, I guess, for the different controls. So we definitely are listening to that, and we'll try to improve on that. But it's a big change from what we had there. We actually had this gliding mechanic for I don't know, like a year. It existed for a long time.
Yeah, for a while.
Yeah.
It's more than a year actually.
Yeah, but we never kind of progressed on it. It was what it was, and we developed the game using that.
Sorry.
But it was really interesting. Like spending we're spending quite a bit of time just improving on the gliding and creating the prototype was really interesting, and you can really see it when we were playing just a little bit earlier. Anne was having I mean, you did pass it in the end.
I did pass it in
So-
the end. Yeah.
It's different.
But it was a struggle.
Yeah, and on that note, and also because we were talking about like favorite parts of development and whatnot, as someone who doesn't actually play the game that often, it's kind of cool to like sporadically play it and see like the difference in like the mechanics and whatnot. It's a really cool part of it.
Yeah.
So, firstly, the fun question. It's unrelated, but what's everyone's favorite animal?
Favorite, like
We
in life
actually
or in the
playable
game?
did come up with spirit animals for this, but some people
Oh,
were
yeah, we
upset
did.
about their spirit
Yeah,
animals.
yeah.
So,
You-
but
oh,
no, in
the
real life,
spirit
just
animal. Yeah, I didn't
general
like.
favorite animal, not spirit animal.
Yeah.
You know.
In real life or in the game?
No context, but probably in real life.
I love cats. I really love cats. It's boring playing like cats, like just sleeping in bed or something like that.
That's
Yeah.
what,
Cats
what,
are great.
cats too.
No, well, I love cats. I have a cat, but I'm partial towards. I really like dogs, especially big dogs.
Oh yeah.
But
Yeah, you guys are so classic.
boring.
Yeah.
I was gonna say
don't-
like in terms of pets, probably a dog, but
Oh.
I don't know, some cool like
Yes, like
feline
large.
that lives in the forest and hunts and stuff.
I
I haven't really thought about the favorite animal thing.
I mean
Okay, Normie.
I didn't really have one, but I was watching what is it? I think it's the second Planetoid, and you have those marine iguana, and then like they're born and they're like all those snakes that come and attack
Oh,
them.
that was
Oh, yeah.
really nice.
Yeah, it was
I
crazy.
saw a gameplay just there.
I didn't care about the marine iguana before, but I felt for that little
Yeah.
guy, and now I think they're my favorite
And
animal.
this scene is amazing. You need to watch this guy's Planet Earth. Yeah, I think it's Planet
Yeah, I
Earth.
think so.
Yeah, it's amazing this scene.
Marine iguanas are actually very cool.
Yeah, I mean they're not exactly pretty though.
No, I think they're cool. I think they're very cool.
I bet Paul's
Same
favorite
kind of
animal is
reptiles.
also a cat. Is it all cats?
No, actually.
I was really expecting.
No, I think I really love the manta rays because
Oh.
how graceful they are and how agile they can swim in the water.
It's not them
Just
that
love
eat
it.
their partner.
That's a praying
No,
mantis.
Praying mantis.
Yeah.
No.
But are they agile? Really?
They're pretty agile.
Yeah, kind
But,
of.
like,
You know,
they're
they can do
flat
jumps
sides.
and I mean they're in their element. So
They're a little
pretty
terrifying.
cool
though.
stuff.
Yeah.
And it's really impressive when they are in how do you call it when there are multiple ones in the water and they pass just under the boats and
Yeah.
the flock.
I mean,
Flock.
yeah,
Yeah,
rays
like
are.
manta
Manta
rays.
rays.
It's kind of crazy seeing like rays jumping out of the water.
Yeah, that's the
So
thing.
we're gonna veer
Yeah.
away from the manta ray discussion. Sorry about this. Just more questions. So what's the context of the different animals in the story? Let's like keep the question answers short so I can introduce.
Yeah, sorry. So, like, how do you encounter them and how do you get to play them, basically?
Yeah, is it like certain missions? Do you have to be
Yeah.
one animal at a time?
There's basically it's a little bit difficult to answer. Not that we don't know, but I don't want to tell too much about
Yeah.
the game, and we've kind of agreed on how exactly it's going to work, but
Yeah.
not 100%. There's still some fine tuning, but that, to keep the answer
Short?
short and vague. short and vague. There are moments in the game where you will need to learn more about the story, and those animals will basically be an entrance in learning more about what's going on in the world of Huawei.
You will have no choice to play one of the animal to accomplish something. At some
Yeah,
point. Yeah.
exactly.
So it's gonna help you to reach place that you were not able to reach or something
Yeah.
like this. So we can say that for now. Can we say more than that?
Well, no, but it's also a way. Like it's definitely a way also to it's an incentive to go and explore a little bit more of
Exactly.
the world. You get to
Yeah.
discover those animals and learn more about what they do, and basically, the game is inspired on animal documentaries. So this is really a cool way of learning more about the environment and the ecosystem and different animals by being able to play those different animals.
Also, I'm watching our Kickstarter pledges and just want to throw a quick shout out to Vincent for a super generous donation. And
Thank you, Vincent.
Thank you so much, Vincent, and Tom, who also just pledged.
Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Yeah,
Seriously.
we have 15 minutes left. Let's reach that nighttime gameplay.
Do we have the Kickstarter?
How much?
135 ish.
I don't know why the keyboard, man, the keyboard is annoying.
I think you pressed too much. You just
You think so?
You're just like attacking the keyboard.
Yeah, maybe that's what it is. Sorry, I'm just gonna go into it.
Okay.
All right, Kickstarter page. Oh wow.
Oh, nice.
Oh wow.
Perfect.
We're near the 135, guys.
Pretty awesome.
That's really cool, actually.
How many minutes? 18 minutes to go.
18 minutes to have.
Let's beat this 135, guys.
Let's reach 135. It's actually cool. It's you know, this is Canadian dollar for our American friends. We've actually crossed the $100,000 threshold, also
Yeah.
US dollars.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's a nice number.
Yeah.
It is.
Other questions?
Yeah, so alpha and beta plan for release for Kickstarters.
Alpha pretty soon. I think we were hoping somewhere in August.
On our Kickstarter, it says
more
September and
September.
December.
That's what we said?
It's more
On
September.
Kickstarter.
Okay, then, yeah. So September alpha release. We'll for the alpha release. I'm hoping that once basically you guys will be able to play, join us on the Discord channel, share some of your feedback, input, whatever.
Yeah.
And we want to, we'll keep updating the alpha version so you guys can always kind of get the fresh new stuff that comes out of development, and following your feedback that you're going to be
And
giving
your
us.
feedback gonna be really essential to us to just make it better and better and polish it as much as we
Yeah,
can. So,
absolutely. I mean, by the time we reach beta version, we're hoping the game will be, honestly, I mean, you guys know this, but alpha version, the very first version you're going to receive, there's going to be some glitches. I mean, we're working hard on clearing out all those glitches, but, if they weren't there, we would release the game today. So alpha version will have some glitches, but it's definitely cool to get all that feedback from you guys.
You're
Okay,
probably
so-
gonna. Yes,
Sorry,
sir.
speaking
No, no.
of feedback, people want to know what our plan is for the animal movement. Like, because on Reddit we got feedback about the animations looking a little weird.
Yeah, there's still work to be done on the animation. Absolutely. I mean, not just the animation. There's many fronts on which it's such a complicated challenge to get the character to move properly. Not just the animation, just the controls in general. Does it feel right? Does it not feel right? But animation is something we're fully aware of that still needs work, especially on some of the animation for a sure glider. So yeah, it's going to continue.
And we're not gonna do motion capture on animals. It's not gonna happen.
Second episode, maybe.
We could raise a future glider and try to. I don't know.
It's cruelty.
Oh, sorry, you're away from
Maybe
the sugar
you
glider
can go
motion
to
cap.
the-
Will there be
Yeah.
skills
beach.
for the different
beach,
animals?
yeah,
Like when it went all dark, do you want to explain instinct?
Instinct.
Yeah, if there will be skills to unlock for specific
Oh,
animals,
yeah,
and then
yeah,
talk
yeah.
about the instinct move.
Oh yeah, so there's different, basically. Sorry guys, the keyboard is just not working. This is pretty annoying. And we just changed the battery on top of that. Anyways, so there's different skills in the game. One of them for a sugar glider is the instinct. What was kind of challenging as a small animal is how do you guide that animal, and how do you see the perspective of an animal that feels things slightly different than we do as humans. Color spectrum, odors, whatever, they're different. They're interpreted differently for a small animal or for animals. So the instinct was kind of a mechanic that really helps us. It helps you find your way, where your peers are, where your enemies are. Yeah, that kind of stuff, basically.
Is there a hub/HP stamina bar option, or is it incorporated in how the animal looks?
No,
Very good question. We're trying to stay away from having too much UI. We really want to keep this as clean as possible. This is the goal. This is what we've been able to achieve so far. But it's getting harder and harder to completely, stay away from all UIs, especially with HP and stamina and that kind of stuff.
But you're gonna have access. Right now, you have access in the menu.
Yeah.
So, but we'll see if we need to add more.
Yeah.
So,
because like for example, health is not that bad. You know, you become bloody a bit or something. Like whatever. It was not. You know, it becomes a bit dirty when he gets hurt. But so that one was easy. But for the other ones, it becomes tough a bit. Stamina.
Yeah,
I mean,
this is
beef them
something
up a
that
bit. I don't know.
We will try to put through animation and textures and everything to have the most immersive version of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Louise. Is there any plan for sillier, less realistic looking skins for the animals? Or is that out of the question?
Well, actually, we will have a lot of discussions with the higher tiers backers, who will have to come up with their own skin. So maybe this will give us a few ideas.
But you know, less realistic skins. The what's the name? On the prototype, you can unlock the glowing glider.
The glowing glider.
We want to stay away from like purely like you know artificial and aesthetic kind of variations of the thing. But if we, it's kind of cool to like, for example, the glowing. There can be there can be reasons behind why they have those spots on them and why they glow. So if everything we do, even if it's not fully realistic, we want to incorporate.
You need to be connected to the story.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, the thing with the glowing glider was inspired by bioluminescent species and mutation and everything. So it's a bit unrealistic, but
it's gonna be explained.
yeah, we can. Yeah.
Quick note about that. Away, like basically at some point in the future. We don't know exactly when.
Yeah, exactly.
It takes the form of an animal documentary, but because it's slightly in the future, we take some creative freedom on our interpretation of those animals or how they might have evolved a little bit in the near mid future. So those things could basically be a consequence of something that has happened in the world, for example.
Exactly. Sorry, I'm watching the when there's a screen.
Oh. Yeah, someone said at this point we're just bullying the other creatures, so be a better part of the circle of life. So is there any plan for like modding after the game releases?
No plan for modding right now, no.
And then do we have anything set for DLC yet?
We're discussing about DLC, so
yeah, there's definitely would be cool to have DLCs. Like for example, we were talking, you know, depending on the success, you know, what happens when we release it. But you know, other again, no promises, but like we can think other playable animals, you know, other islands kind of stuff.
yeah.
There's definitely many things that could, but they're not gonna. It's unlikely that DLCs will come out, you know, at the same time as the game. More likely some point afterwards.
Yeah, it depends on like the success of the game.
Yeah, but there's so much more to explore that we want to do.
Yeah.
So if the cells are good, like we will
already have ideas for like
exactly
4 years
Exactly.
to come. So don't
worry.
Do we have any translation plans for right now? Someone wants to know if we're making a Chinese version.
There's so right now the only official translation for the audio, the voiceover right now are French or English. But also we're planning on creating subtitles in
different languages.
Yeah, including Chinese. But I think we had 17 languages planned. So yeah.
Great. Nicholas Ward just asked tiny hats for the sugar glider.
Tiny hats.
So there's a new idea for DLC in the
DLC
future.
with tiny hat.
After the cat in the hat, the sugar in the hat.
Okay, is the environment affected when one would, quote, go on a killing spree?
Sorry?
Is the environment affected when you go on a killing spree and, like, murder everything?
Well, a lot of the creatures there are pretty peaceful. They don't really, I mean, they're neither preys or enemies of yours. But if you bother them too much, they get pissed off and they will come back at you. Also, if you, there's a certain dynamic that exists between, you know, different animals. So if you, wow, that's impressive.
That's a feature.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a feature.
That's,
The attack comes up.
Oh.
that's pretty interesting.
Okay.
Yeah.
This part of the game is not
Yeah.
finished. As you can see, it's we
I thought it was as designed.
Yeah,
I did it on purpose.
Floating skeleton.
you want to go back to the
beach.
not the beach, the glide?
Yeah, we can go back to the guy.
Can we expect surprises and Easter eggs around the world?
Yeah, of course.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. This is fun.
Surprise.
You know, honestly, the game, when we started developing it, we barely had anything. Like, we had a rough world made in, what's the name? The Google thing to make sketches.
Sketchbook?
SketchUp.
SketchUp,
Oh,
yeah.
SketchUp,
It was,
yeah.
you know, very, very first draft. Already at that point, we had some Easter egg hidden. So,
Yeah.
So, someone wants to ask about the story, the post-apocalyptic story.
yeah. So they want to know more about it?
Yeah.
Well,
We cannot say
Or-
much. But
yeah, actually, this is something you will have to figure out in the game because this is part of exploration. We will put some things here and there to explain what happened, where is humanity now, and what happened to Earth. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we don't really want to tell too much. We can only tell you it's some point in the future, and like there's definitely a lot of natural catastrophes.
Yeah.
It's, you know, there's like climate change. I've really kind of overtaken everything, and so everything has changed. Like it's not animals are not in the same world that they used to be. Humans are not seen in what we've seen so far. So it's really an animal world what we're seeing on that island.
Any plans for VR?
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. VR is like so cool. Initially the game was a VR game for the first almost year. I think that's what we were doing. It's sick to play this in VR, but we had to focus our energy somewhere. So VR has kind of been a bit on the side track, on the side. Something we'll do later. But we will come up with something afterward. As soon as we release this game, we will release an experience that's going to be in VR.
It's more going to be in the format of experience, like experience away from VR.
Like we can adapt the gliding demo for VR.
For example,
an example. Like we can do that.
Gliding is so cool in VR. The issue though is with a character like that can move in so many directions. It's very hard to avoid motion sickness. So we have to be careful on what kind of gameplay we can integrate in VR. But we haven't forgotten the people that love VR.
Plans for day-night cycle.
Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
this is the running
50, yeah.
It is running. Our partner Laurent is not here right now, but that's been his request for forever.
Because of the size of the team and stuff, it's something we put on the side for now. But one of the stretch goals was to do like a sun side mission in nighttime. That was more like possible for the kind of team we have right now. But we'll see in the future. Maybe it's gonna be add like on the DLC, but in the future, like.
One thing that's cool, close to nighttime. It's not nighttime, but we have underground missions. There's those tunnels or whatever they are. So that's at least. It's not night, but it's the closest thing you will get to like a more dark environment and different kind of vegetation.
I also want to say like the lighting is changing. It's not always at the same time of the day. We start the game, it's the morning, and we finish it's almost the night. So there's already a time of day, but we're just not doing like the loop with the night because it was a lot of work for us. So,
By the way, just a quick, we have 5 minutes left of our Kickstarter.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah.
So we need to switch.
Need to switch to the
4
page.
minutes. 4 minutes? No, 5 minutes.
Oh yeah,
Really weird
135.
time.
Oh, and we crossed at 135.
Cool.
Well, we started the Kickstarter.
Go on.
Oh yeah.
Alright,
Well, we
guys,
started the
take this.
Kickstarter page. Can we ask more questions? Because we have some more to go through.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, so
Answer faster.
really quick, we talked about the wolf earlier. It's not set yet, but we do have the fox as a playable animal. And then, if you are at early bird, you can up and just let us know, and we'll give you all the games. So, the island unlocking tier mentioned a surprise animal, but are you able to play that on the mainland as well?
Not in the main.
The surprise animal, it's
Is it-
not gonna be on the mainland.
Just the island.
It's just the island for now. Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't want to see which animal. I think people are gonna be surprised.
Where in the world does this play out?
Oh, you want?
Yeah, we can.
It's
can
a place. It's a place in the world, but we cannot say. You're gonna need to find out.
Okay, that
But
kind-
it's a place in the world.
A real place.
Yeah, it's a real place.
Awesome. That kind of leads into the next question. So if we're figuring the mystery out, and we're the sugar glider primarily, does the sugar glider know what happened, or is it just like you just get the animal senses and use your animal smarts?
Does the sugar glider figure out what happened?
Does
Basically,
the like sugar glider already, not quite sugar, but does the sugar glider already know the story of the world, or do you just need to like play through it and it doesn't tell you anything, I guess?
I guess the player will gonna know at some point, so but the sugar glider, I don't think so.
Yeah,
it's kind of interesting
As a
'cause-
human, you will understand what
Yeah.
happened. Hopefully, yeah.
but that's it. Like it's a small animal. Like it doesn't fully understand what's going on. That's why it's more like I think you experience through his eyes, but it's only as a human that you can really understand what's going on. But I don't think the sugar glider really gets it. Apart from he's hungry and he needs to eat and find his family. But I don't think like the full scope of the story is something that he understands. We understand it.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's a
3 minutes to go, guys.
That's a very philosophical,
Oh, 2
question
minutes
to
to go.
talk about.
Minutes, wow.
2 minutes to go.
Okay, so how do the side quests with the other animals work if they're hubs? Like hub
There's
with animal to change?
no, there's no. It's not a hub. The way you'll be able to go and find those quests again is there's a network of tunnels throughout the world that lets you travel in different places. Basically, a fast travel system, but it's made in a way that makes sense for a sugar glider. He doesn't take a taxi to get to a place he wants to go. No, let's scrap that idea.
Taxi.
Too expensive.
If he
Yeah,
has
too
an app,
expensive.
maybe he can have a taxi.
But so through these tunnels, you'll be able to go and go to the places where you can find those, because each animal lives in a different biome. Thank you. Yeah.
Will the Kickstarter island be available in the PS4 version?
Yeah, of course. If you're a backer of Kickstarter, we're gonna have this PS4 and PC.
It's
For
down
sure.
to seconds now.
Seconds.
God.
It's counting down
Oh.
to seconds.
Wow,
Can we reach a 136?
Yeah, 136.
that's really terrifying, honestly.
That is
These
just
are, like
terrifying.
second countdowns.
100 seconds to go,
seconds.
guys. 136.
Unfortunately, the sugar glider is not voiced by Morgan Freeman. We absolutely wish, but
That would have been great.
it would have been.
That would be so.
If you know him,
Morgan
tell him to
Freeman would
call
have been
us.
sick.
That would have been so nice.
Part up with the note, the dictat.
Oh
Those?
Yeah, this. Well, yeah. You
go
go ahead.
You started talking. Tell the story.
I don't know the context of the entire conversation, but one of our super awesome fans who like contributes a lot, Samuel. I think.
Yeah, Samuel.
So it turns out he wrote to David Attenborough about our game, talking about like the significance in terms of like climate change and like the nature documentary thing and everything. And he replied talking about how he's never played a video game before, which we thought was kind of cool.
But it was so cool that
Maybe
you
he can
replied.
play
It was
Yeah, it's awesome, and yeah.
it was pretty awesome. Yeah.
So yeah, thanks to Samuel for
Yes,
making him
seriously.
aware of our
Thank you
game.
very
It's
much,
pretty cool.
Okay,
We're
40
down to
seconds.
42 seconds.
And it's turning red now.
Yeah, it's red.
I've never gone through this. This
I'm
is
not sure we're gonna reach a
Stressful.
136 now.
I feel like that's
136.
It's fine.
Do you think I'm still allowed to cancel the campaign?
Oh, okay, we have some more questions for after this. So
After the
yeah,
last 20
after-
seconds?
20.
Okay,
Yeah, we're
so
We're just
but
gonna
it-
focus on the Kickstarter for now, and then we'll answer.
but it's,
Okay.
so,
Another
it's a
15
very
seconds.
like drawn out and stretched out like stress.
Yeah,
It's
because
like,
we've been staring
yeah.
at it
Yeah, I
from
know.
like
It's
120
finishing.
seconds, just
10, so I don't want to do
So
countdown.
it's already
Seven,
been a
6.
5. No,
4.
you're
Yeah,
too fast.
you do fast. You don't know. 3,
Oh, sorry.
2,
1.
1.
Ta-da!
Oh wow, we get sparkles.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone.
Awesome.
Thank you.
This is
Fine,
We're
yeah.
fun.
Can I just say that in the last literal 3 seconds, we got another pledge.
oh wow.
Yeah.
Really cool.
Incredible.
Who was
Rhiannon, thank you for
Rhiannon.
being our like last second
Very-
pledge.
pretty awesome.
It's pretty awesome.
Are you Ray 61?
This
What's
is
the
so
final
cool.
number?
Also, no, it was technically after, but it still counted.
Yeah.
Technically after.
That's so strange.
The countdown is so ominous. It
Can we-
stressed us
can we go
hell
now?
out just now.
What do you want to see?
Okay.
Just what it's written at the end.
So-
Maybe we have the last pledge.
Oh.
Oh, do we have
No,
the
but I don't want to show the names of everybody. That's why.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's over here. if you wanna-
Yeah.
So,
So we'll go back to questions.
couple
Guys,
more.
thank you so much. This is so cool that we.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of cool that it's
It's
finished.
incredible. Like,
I'll
you
get
guys
to
made
sleep.
this possible. It's amazing. Our community has been absolutely fantastic. Interacting with you guys has been a complete pleasure.
Yeah.
And thanks for all your questions. We'll answer a couple more before my computer dies.
It's been the community has been so much fun. Honestly, the people are nice. The level. I think it's kind of funny. It'd be interesting to see the first streaming we did, seeing the level of energy, which was really high. We're starting this right now. I'm pretty sure if we listen to our voice, it's a bit lower.
like, yeah,
this
from the
is
beginning to
30
the
months of lack of sleep, and like when we close this thing, getting a beer and falling to sleep. That's what's happening after.
Yeah.
Someone said champagne is in order, so
Well,
not
shit,
quite
champagne.
as
Right.
champagne, but yeah. Okay, so a couple more questions, if
Yep.
that's okay with you guys.
Absolutely.
Sure.
Once I scroll back up to the top. So can we make the sugar glider make noise? I know he makes that like heat noise.
Yes.
Yeah.
Squealing.
Can bark.
Oh,
Oh, he barks? Sorry. He's here.
oh.
Hey.
So.
What were you gonna say?
No, they're just answering the question about the bark. No, you can't make him bark. There was a discussion at some point.
Yeah, we tried this gameplay at some point.
Yeah, like trying to be able to communicate with your peers. Like basically, you're in trouble, you call them out, or they call you out, kind of thing. It was cool. But
At the beginning, when we were smashing, he always barking, and it was annoying. So we just put it.
I mean, they're
back.
cute, but their sound gets, you know.
Okay. We can't answer any of your questions about your guesses for the locations, because that's spoilers. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
sorry about that.
No spoiler.
No location.
Yeah.
How many guesses was
Oh,
there?
it was 3.
Okay.
Like, you can't say anything about
Yeah.
it.
It was a few we could say one of them was right.
No.
I mean, if they send us 100.
Just out of curiosity.
Okay. Australia, New Guinea, or Indonesia?
Uh,
Poker faces.
Poker face.
somewhere over the rainbow.
So, what will the fire tornado trigger? Because the fire tornado is like my favorite part of the trailer.
It is
awesome. It's way better than the spider, which terrifies me. If you're excited to play as the spider, like, knock yourselves out. But shit.
There's a lot of people that are kind of. It was funny. We almost didn't include the spider because we're like, what if it creeps people out? Too much? It creeps me out. I hate
You
it,
know,
but I love it too. It's like this. I don't know. It's scary at least.
Stuff 8 love like.
I feel like it'll be really fun to play, but it just moves so fast. Okay, so fire tornadoes.
So, what's the question about fire tornadoes? What's
Let me go find the exact thing. 'Cause I feel like I misrepresented it. Scrolling. How will the fire tornado trigger? Like, what causes the fire tornado?
Oh, well, we can say, right?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah,
Yeah, it's-
but because it's there's a lot. The world is collapsing with a lot of climate enemy. You can say
Yeah, climate or earth. How do you call
like
that?
storms and
storms
so,
and
yeah.
stuff like
So the storm and it's gonna be one of the main enemy of the game.
So the storm ends up starting a fire in the forest. That's what starts it. But also there's basically there's a massive storm when the game starts, but it's
Yeah.
kind of further out, and you see it coming. So there's this fire. So basically you end up with a condition with fire and tornadoes, and it makes fire tornadoes.
And we did our research.
Sharknado, but a little bit more. Wait, the research on fire tornadoes?
We did our research, and it's possible for real.
Yeah.
And I have videos to prove it.
Research only,
Yeah.
not because fire tornadoes look excellent.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so is the survival aspect as complicated as needing to sleep, heal, drink water, eat food, etc.?
It's there, but it's not that complicated. You don't need to sleep in the game.
Yeah.
No, we don't want to make the game too complicated either. Like the survival aspect needs to be fun for any kind of gamer.
Exactly.
Like it shouldn't appeal to only like the really kind of hardcore survival game guys. So yeah, so primarily the game is an adventure game. The survival aspect is important to us, but we kept it so that it would be accessible for most players.
But just to be clear, you do have to sleep in real life, okay? It's like, please don't play away non-stop. Sleep. It's
It's funny
important.
that AP's saying that.
It's important. Trust me, I would know.
Okay, how many work on this game? And then about how long does it take to complete the game as a player?
It depends of the player actually, but we can say at least in between 5 to 7 hours.
I would say like 4 to 8 would be a good estimate. If you're really good, you can probably get it through it in 4 hours. But if you actually want to explore the world and actually go through the side quests, find artifacts, or take your time through the game, then it could go stretch up to 8 or even more, honestly.
Yeah, with all the quests, I guess if you like exploration, you can like be there for like a while.
Yeah.
And for fans of like the more survival aspect of the game, there's ways to play quite a bit of time.
Yeah. So we've tried to make it large enough in scope that like you can play this game a fair amount of time.
As for the size of the team, I think you asked, we are currently about 10 people.
10 people, exactly.
Yeah. It has fluctuated slightly during the production, but not that much. It was always around 10.
So there's the 7 of us, then there's Laurent, our creative director.
Yeah.
There is Damien, our sound director, and Liliana, who actually was the closest in her prediction for Kickstarter.
She was, yes.
Who works in accounting.
Yeah.
So that's a 10-person team.
Yeah.
Mike.
Mike is, he's not a full-time member of the team, but he's, you know, the game sounds awesome because he's there. So I hope we didn't miss anybody. That would be really good.
So then we've got the scriptwriter, the voice actor, graphic designer. So we have a lot of people who've contributed to the project.
Yeah.
In terms of full-time team, like people who are on the team in the studio, that would be 10 people.
Yeah.
So were we expecting this response to the Kickstarter?
Honestly, no. Like it's especially like it was surprising, especially the first day when we reached 24 hours. Like we reached the initial goal in that amount of time. We honestly did not like even in our like ambitious projections. I really don't think anybody thought we were going to reach this. So yeah, the Kickstarter was really an amazing success.
I think the first day and the last couple of days were just
last couple of days was crazy. Yeah.
They were surpassed our expectations. I think crazy.
When we've been talking about doing a Kickstarter campaign for a long time. This is 2 years in the making, basically. And every time we bring it up, we'd be like, maybe another time. And finally, we decided we'd pull the trigger. In terms of how much we expected to raise, we set our goal at what we thought we could raise. And I remember early discussions, we said, given what other games that we've heard of have done, maybe an ambitious prediction would be like if we can do our absolute best, maybe 100,000 US, and we blasted past that mark yesterday, I think. So
yeah, exactly.
Like or today actually. So we were like super ecstatic about what's happened. We had no idea it would go this high.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
How much research went into this game, you documentary watchers?
Oh,
wow.
Me, I watched like all Planet Earth at least 3 or 4 times, and all like the other documentaries that. The one I really like, it's Eden Kingdom. And you can see
he would
like
not shut up about Eden Kingdom.
Yeah, it's our
every
game.
day. Watch Eden Kingdom.
Yeah, it's our game because it's all about like a squirrel. So you can see it's really nice. You have to see that if you didn't see what.
There was also other documentaries we watched about because you've seen like some artifacts of like they've been left there by some human stuff that's there, but it shows that it has not been taken care of for a long time. So we also looked at documentaries on what would happen if things were left untouched for an extended period of time. What would happen to animals? What would happen to the environment, to the human structures, and all of that. So we researched that a lot. Our script writer also spent a tremendous amount of time just researching all of that. The script, that would be cool actually. That could be something we could give to people at some point, I guess. The script that we have. It's very different in the end what we produced, but it's cool. It's cool to read what the initial story was. Anyways.
Okay. Quickly, if sharing on Twitter helped us, it really did. Thank you so much for everyone who spread the word about us. It's hard to get noticed as an indie studio. It really meant a lot to us, honestly.
Yeah, and it's gonna help us a lot.
We have so many thank yous that we wish we could make right now. I mean, just off the top of my head, in the last couple of days, we've had at least 5 or 6 different studios give us a tremendous boost in terms
that
of
was
exposure
really nice of them.
on Twitter and Kickstarter backer updates, and we've had dozens of other partners help us out through the campaign. There's not enough that can be said to thank these people. You look at the developers of Fugle, the developers of Superflight, at the end of the campaign who offered their games as reward star backers. Early in the campaign we had the developers of Niche, Strafe on Studio, we had the developers of Shelter, the Shelter series, we had the developers of, the lone developer actually, it's incredible, it's a solo guy who did the first tree. they also helped us out with Steam keys for their games for our first day backers. And just throughout the campaign, the support that we've gotten. I mean, you would know as the person who's been managing the community and managing all of this, it's been insane how much warmth and love that we've gotten from the indie community. I had no idea that it would be this much, so thank you so much to everyone.
Yeah, it's been incredible. How many more questions do you want to do? Like,
I actually kind of wanted to get into what happens post Kickstarter immediately for backers. So if there's anyone watching right now that wished they could have backed, but that just now realized that the campaign ended, hope is not lost. You can still get your copy of Away. If you go to our Kickstarter page, you'll see that we now have a pre-order button. You can actually get your own copy of Away. You can reserve it, pre-order it right from our Kickstarter page. It'll take you to our website, and you'll be able to do that. So if you were late to the party, you're a slacker backer, all hope is not lost. You can still get your copy of Away through pre-ordering on our website, and all the links are there, so go check it out. Another thing, I think we kind of touched upon it a little bit earlier, is a Discord channel. It's something that's come up a lot throughout our Kickstarter campaign, and we decided that we would make one, so it is now live. You can, again, that's another thing, we have a Discord button on our Kickstarter campaign, and you can immediately just join our server, come talk to us, talk to our community. We're going to hopefully in the next couple of days post more backer updates with exactly what these links are and everything, but you can absolutely join the Discord server and come join the community.
a couple more questions?
Yeah, of course.
Just wanna
Yeah,
finish
yeah.
it?
Sure, yeah,
No,
absolutely.
Sorry, I
we're not in
don't-
a rush, honestly. Like this is after that, there's going to be champagne, beer, and whatever. So
And food.
and food, yes.
Yeah, get us while we're sober.
Thanks for all the hellos, by the way, and like just comments. It's really appreciated. We could say also, I need to shout out "Eat, Sleep, Glide, Repeat" by Niels. Like, I want that across the cover of our box. That's okay.
That's a really good one.
Yeah, right. So, how will the story mode and like the exploration aspects of the game intertwine? Like, is it story mode and then free roam, or are they put together?
They're put together. Of course, the game starts. It starts telling a story, but you reach certain points. There's quite a few points in the story where you're kind of encouraged to go and explore outside of that main path. And I mean, you don't have to only do it in those moments, but those are moments where you kind of have no choice but to go and explore, and that will bring you to do more of the survival and exploration outside of that main story. There's moments though in the game where you're I would say kind of you have to go through a sequence of missions that are like really storyline. I'm thinking mostly the beginning, which is pretty much a tutorialization. Anyways, a few tutorials at the beginning, and the end, the climax of the game has kind of a longer stretch of like one kind of block of story that tells the end of the story.
Oh,
I'm really invested in, like, I'm just concentrating really hard on them playing the game now for
Yeah,
the past few minutes.
Yeah, what you saw is a little bit of animal riding.
Yeah.
That's something that'll be featuring in the game as well. So, not in the prototype, of course, but in the final game, you'll get the chance to ride a couple of animals.
Yeah, we've basically put the game in a place where you get to do a bit of platforming. It's a pretty chill area in the game. It's not not like much enemies there, but it's kind of a nice complementation
Yeah.
to play. So that's why we put it there. It's pretty, and you get to see a little bit some of the controls and stuff.
okay. First of all, our only confirmed console release right now is for PS4.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'd love to come to other consoles.
So
Yeah.
we are in talks with the other consoles right now, but nothing's confirmed though. But we'll let you know as soon as we have updates on those fronts. In the meantime, Steam, so PC, and we've got PlayStation 4. We were announced on State of Play a couple months back. So that's what's confirmed for now.
We've also had a question about other. It's not this question, but other. Sorry, launchers. Yeah, Linux. Yeah, I know there's not that many players, but I'm keeping. I'm doing work on that front to be able to build it on Linux.
Seb's our resident Linux advocate at the office. So we're doing what we can. No guarantees, but if we can get it on Linux, we will.
Yeah. But also I meant other launchers.
Oh, yeah,
People
yeah.
have asked about other launchers. Right now, there's only Steam that's confirmed, but I don't see why we wouldn't support at least the popular ones.
Yeah.
But can't tell you which one because we don't know yet. We haven't done any work on that front.
Yeah. but it is on Steam. Like you can actually wishlist it on Steam right now.
Yeah.
We plan on launching it on Steam, so don't have to worry there. Do we have one last question?
One last question. Can I bundle that into two?
Sure. Yeah.
For right now. So, will we see any other sugar gliders in the story? And any plans for a physical copy?
So the first one is we see other sugar gliders?
Will we see other sugar gliders, like, beyond the start of the story?
Oh, well...
We don't want to spoil too much, but
yeah.
yes.
Yeah, definitely. I think the very first sentence is, isn't it? Sugar gliders are social animals, something.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that says a lot about it. The other one was...
Physical copy plans.
Physical copy. We have plans for physical copy. I mean, there's some in the some of the backer rewards with
Like the collector's edition
Yeah.
obviously features a physical copy. Right now, the backing is closed, so you can't get the collector's edition anymore. That's a Kickstarter thing.
Yeah.
But we do plan on releasing a physical copy if we can. We're talking to a couple partners.
Yeah.
So
It mostly depends on that, basically.
Yeah.
What kind of partnership we can close in the end.
But it's
yeah,
just such a good feeling to be able to hold your own game in your hands.
I know.
We'd love to have a physical copy.
that's the sad part about digital. It's kind of useful digital downloads, but it's kind of sad not to have your collection, the physical collection of your games. Kind of even for movies. I mean, I never buy a Blu-ray or DVD anymore, but still sad not to have those anymore. So yes, I want to have digital.
And were those the two questions?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, perfect.
Unless you see an important question, like, is there something that you felt like needed to be mentioned right now? Because we'll answer all those questions anyway.
Now we do have a Discord, so if you have any questions, you can ask them there.
Drag you all onto my Discord server, please.
Yeah. So you can have the
I'm
link on
sorry,
our
Matt, but-
Kickstarter page, yeah.
It's pretty much at the top of the page too. If we
Yeah.
sure it was there.
Yeah. So at the top of the Kickstarter page, actually, do you want to switch to the Kickstarter page and we'll show you exactly what we're talking about?
And now it works well. Keep working.
Thanks to everyone who's already joined. It's nice to see people who aren't us on it. Like,
So if we refresh,
Yeah, just needed to refresh.
scroll down,
You did it. Crap.
just close. There's an X in the top right.
Oh yeah. Sorry. It's you guys don't see it, but the TV screen's a bit far.
All right. So
I
continue supporting our website, and then
switch to the.
Oh yeah.
Like they can't see.
They can't see anything. And now it doesn't work anymore.
is it the
Which
number
one?
one?
There
Oh,
we
here we
go,
go.
there we
Here we
go.
go. Perfect. So there's a Discord button right now. If you click it, you get an invite,
Oh my god.
and you can join our server that way.
Yeah.
Alternatively, if we close out of this,
Oh my god, nothing is working with this. How do you change tab? Control tab.
so alternatively, we have. Oh no.
What happened?
okay, cool.
Back to the Kickstarter page.
Yeah.
Little technical difficulty here.
Sorry guys, this is turning into a complicated thing.
Okay, so you don't have to scroll. You can see right at the top of our Kickstarter page, continue supporting Away on our website. You can click there to pre-order Away. If you already have your copy, but you know a friend who would love Away and who didn't get the chance to back on Kickstarter, it's not too late. They can go on our website and get their copy there. Basically the same price as it was on Kickstarter. It's pretty simple. It's it's plug and play. So
It's pretty much the same price as it was.
yeah, I think it might be $1 more expensive now. So you guys got a good deal on Kickstarter.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so you can do it right from our page. If you know anyone who would be interested, or you want to get an extra copy for some reason, you can get as many as you want.
Yeah.
You can just pre-order them right on our website.
Okay. There are more questions.
Yes.
Oh yeah, okay, well let's go. Let's answer the questions.
Are we good? I don't know how long we want this stream to be, but thank you for all the questions.
I mean,
Like,
People are tired of listening to us, they can leave them. Continue answering questions.
so will there be different stories for each animal you play as, or will it be more like in the gliding prototype where you play as the shore glider and you like plop into one animal and then come back to it?
No, like the gliding prototype was really just to tease a little bit what it's like to control another animal, but they're much more integrated in the story. Basically, those animals tell a lot about the story when you play them. You don't evolve their own story. Like for example, let's say I'm just gonna put an example. You play the bear, for example. He's not gonna have to defend his cubs or like
Yeah.
you know, do like go on like some quest on his own. It's more like you're gonna have to some gameplay associated with him.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
gonna tell you more about the story. But the main, I guess, the main character you're playing is the Sugar Glider.
Yeah, you cannot play the main story with the,
No, exactly.
the bear.
Bear don't glide, so it's
Yeah.
difficult to.
Maybe
Another
in
quote
this
for the
future.
box: "Bear don't glide."
Bear don't glide.
Okay. Will there be unlockable 3D models or artwork or any unlockables like that?
Unlockable 3D models.
3D models. That wasn't part of the plan.
We didn't discuss about
No.
this,
That's kind of cool, though.
but yeah.
We'll take note of that one. We just didn't think about it, but yeah.
Let's think about it.
Because there's different there's achievements. For example, right now a lot of our development is PS4 and Steam, so we're using achievements, yeah, it's kind of cool to, but they're just achievements. Maybe it could be cool to have. Anyways, we'll talk about it.
It's a good suggestion.
Do we have any plans yet for the PS4 trophies, like the Platinum Trophy?
No, we haven't looked that much into it yet. So
And then will there be more prototypes or demos?
Hard to say now.
Yeah.
It could be cool, but right now, our roadmap is focused on finishing the game first. If we have anything else that we'd like to release, we will. 100%. It's been a core part of our strategy from the get-go is to get you guys involved in the feedback loops. As early as August 2017, I think we released our first prototype. January 2018, and then we had the one for the Kickstarter campaign. If we can release more, we will. But right now, it's too early to say.
yeah, we had the initial one was the VR prototype. We
Yeah,
didn't have,
true,
like,
true.
all the way back to that. Also, like it was always to test different mechanics, but it also has to be fair to the people that have decided to back us on the alpha and beta version. To be able to play those mechanics up front. To release a demo or a prototype for each of those.
Do we recommend gameplay on controller or KMB?
Right now, I think it's better to play on controller, but we're gonna work a lot like on the keyboard aspect soon. But right now, for the demo, like the prototype we put out of the gliding, it's better with the controller right now.
To be honest, it's mostly the gliding that's really challenging.
Yeah,
For other controls, like the hunting, whatever, everything else is pretty cool with the keyboard and mouse. But gliding is a bit difficult. It's the sensitivity and just making sure you get.
Yeah.
So that one still needs work. It was a lot of the feedback we received was on that. So. Oh yeah. More questions?
Yeah, so we have this really interesting one. What makes Anne the coolest breaking walls dev there is? Please explain why she's so cool.
I want a personal shout out in the comments.
That's pretty cool. So why is she do? Well, she's got to answer that one.
Yeah.
Why
Why are you so cool?
I know, that's a hard one. I
Explain to us.
wasn't prepared for that.
It's because she's the only one who wears hoodies.
Yeah.
That's how you know that she's cool.
I'm really cool. Literally cool in the office. So
Okay, you're
It's
cool.
actually chilly.
Well, to at least tell them what you're working on a bit right now. It's kind of cool. I find it cool. If there's no.
So what's next?
You don't think it's cool? I think it's cool.
no, I think it's really cool. Yeah. I'm not doing a lot of. I used to be the community manager. I'm not doing a lot of work on Away right now, but I'm doing a lot of like.
What you're doing is more away.
Well, right now, yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm working on like the quest system and whatnot, which is a lot of fun. So yeah, it is pretty cool.
Yeah. It's
Cool
basically
thing
the
to be
core.
doing
It's basically
is-
what cements everything together to make sure the game actually works. So it's pretty cool.
It's kind of cool.
Yeah. But that doesn't answer why you're the coolest developer.
Okay, we gotta stop.
I think this is
The joke is
over.
too long.
But shout out for that comment. Got it right.
Yeah,
Definitely am the
Austin.
coolest.
Okay, so the Sugar Glider plushies, they're not completed yet. We have an artisan from Etsy who's working on them right now. She's really sweet, so we're seeing how that goes. So that answers the Sugar Glider plush question. Is this your brother?
Maybe.
Can I bring you beers at 6-ish?
Okay. Yeah, that is my brother.
Great. We're in the
See-
personal
see you at
shout-out
6.
section.
Got into the personal shout out.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's his birthday. It's his birthday tomorrow too. So happy birthday in advance, brother.
Okay, so I think that's the end of
All
the
right.
questions from
Yeah.
not
Okay, cool.
shout-outs. So thank you for tuning into our stream.
thanks for tuning in, and again, thank you so much for all your
Yeah,
support.
thank you.
Yeah.
All how many people? 2,600,
Something like that.
2,700 of you.
2,700.
Can we see?
Yeah, you
Scroll
can
down
scroll
a
down.
little
Oh,
bit.
yeah.
All 2,685 of you, thank you so much. It's absolutely overwhelming the kind of support we've gotten, and we
It's
can't thank
amazing.
you enough.
Actually.
Really cool.
Thank you very much. Guys.
Thank you so much, guys. See you on Discord.
See you on Discord.
bye.
Bye bye. I need to figure out how to close this. Yeah. I'll just stop streaming.
You did? Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I think-
congrats, Lily.
Oh,
Yeah.
we need to find better.
Next one.